PlayStation 1 has been synonymous with various JRPGs over the years, from the Suikoden series to Legend of Dragoon to the Wild Arms series. But no game brings more nostalgia to a gamer from the PS1 era more than Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII was a commercial success that many regard as one of the most influential and greatest games ever made. Having produced a sub-series featuring a prequel setting up the events of Final Fantasy VII, a movie following Tifa and Cloud 2 years after the events of the game, and even a spin-off following Vincent Valentine, Final Fantasy VII rightfully deserves this high praise. In April 2020, Square Enix would release the first of 3 parts retelling the story of Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Remake, following main protagonist Cloud Strife and his team as they embark through the first section of the game in Midgar, leading all the way to the escape of the city. Remake received favorable reviews from reviewers and universally loved by fans. Ever since gamers around the world completed Final Fantasy VII Remake, we have all been patiently waiting for the release of Part 2 of the trilogy, and in February 2024, Square Enix did just that, releasing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This time Cloud and his team will explore an expansive open world and explore various locations leading up to the Cetra Temple and that scene. But before we get there, let's talk about the amazing job Square Enix did with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Hey guys, my name is Peter, aka King Exodus, and if you enjoyed Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or are enjoying it, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more gaming content. For today's review, I will do my very best to avoid spoilers as best as I can. So with all that out of the way, let's get into it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth follows Cloud Strife and his gang that consists of the returning characters Tifa, Barret, Aerith, and Red 13. And new characters Yuffie and Cait Sith joining during your adventures. You'll also interact with Cid and Vincent Valentine, who are party members during OG Final Fantasy VII, but they're not playable in this game. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was definitely not what I was expecting. One of Final Fantasy VII Remake's biggest complaints was the 40-hour linear experience we got, with the amount of side quests and activities that Remake had really gave it a sense of over-padding. Square Enix took that to heart, it seemed. Now, I always knew Rebirth was never going to be a linear game, just by how the story of OG Final Fantasy VII is structured truthfully, but if you told me we would get an expansive, fully explorable open world adventure, I would call you crazy. But that's just what we got. As you progress in the story and visit new locations, you will unlock a new region to explore, and all of these are beautiful and full of detail. Each region, from the grasslands to Junon to Cosmo Canyon, is full of things for you to do, like exploring some live stream springs that net you a lot of resources, or the Remna Wave towers that better help you uncover more of the world's intel. All the tasks you complete in the regions will help you gain party experience and help our good friend Chadley in his research, who returns from Remake. The regions might have a lot to do and keep you occupied, but the real highlight is the side quests and minigames, which are impressive. In Rebirth, as you work your way through the side quests, now some of your teammates will get involved with some of these stories. Like Aerith helping a flower girl pick specific flowers for a chocobo crown. Each character will have their own side quest tie-ins, and completing them will help with your affinity with your teammates. As far as minigames are concerned, Rebirth has a wide selection of fun and interactive minigames. Most are reimaginings of the original Final Fantasy VII minigames, but some were created for Rebirth. Some of my favorites are the Punch-Out inspired 3D brawler, the Jumping Toad since it reminds me of Fall Guys, and the new card game introduced in Rebirth called Queen's Blood, which is so fun and easy to learn. There's even a mini tournament you could take part in, with a little bit of a surprise at the very end. Capturing chocobos is another one of those mini games, with some chocobos also having some much needed exploration skills needed to 100% a region, and those must be captured and collected. Especially since these open world regions are pretty big and the chocobo traversal can easily help get through it all. The fact we can traverse this big world through the air, sea, and on chocobo, and there's no struggle performance wise, is a big thumbs up for me. Combat is identical to Remake, specifically Remake Integrate, with the use of basic attacks that grow your ATB gauge, allowing you to attack with magic and special abilities. Using your different abilities can grow your limit gauge, which lands a much more powerful attack called Limit Breaks. Returning from Integrate is the Synergy attacks, which are attacks where 2 party members team up to hit a special attack, and with the many party members you have at your disposal, there's many different synergy combos you can use. Unlocking the different synergy attacks will be in the character folios, which serve as this game's skill tree. Don't worry if you feel like you underutilize certain characters, as the game will at times separate the party members, allowing you to explore the various fighting styles of each character. So, the story of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth begins right where Remake left off, following the battle versus the Whispers and Sephiroth, and escaping the metropolis of Midgar into a local town called Calm. Cloud retells the story of the Nibelheim incident and his dealings with Sephiroth before his perceived death. A raid of the town pushes Cloud and the gang out of the town since they are now runaway fugitives, following the help of the hotel owner, leading you to your escape into the grasslands. Cloud and the gang now must travel the world in search of Sephiroth and prevent whatever he's got planned. The Black-robed men lead the gang to many different regions like Barrett's, Red 13, Cloud, and Tifa's hometowns, with many touching moments that bring the characters together, like the Barrett 1v1 versus his best friend, or Red 13's backstory, which are a highlight for me. Another plus is how they seamlessly integrate Yuffie into the story and the party, even though she's normally an optional character. All their actions lead them to find Sephiroth's true plans, an attempt to search for an ancient Cetra temple, which will house the climax of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's story. Though, during all this, an alternative timeline where you get to play as Zack Fair, which in the original timeline is supposed to be dead, and we get a reappearance of Biggs, who again was supposed to be dead. In this alternative timeline, Zack is trying to find answers even though he doesn't even know how he got there. As far as the story for me, I think Square Enix is doing an excellent job retelling Final Fantasy VII. The only thing I'll say is that the ending feels a little incomplete right now. Though it does help that I've played Final Fantasy VII, I feel like we were robbed of the ending we all wanted, and with the inclusion of the multiverse, you don't know what's reality or what's in Cloud's broken mind, so you don't really know what's truly going on. I did truly enjoy the ending because you can interpret any little small detail into your own little theories of what's going on and what's going to happen. Nevertheless, I'm super excited for the next one, and let me put out a guess now that it's probably going to be called Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Maybe? Post-game, you can go back and finish any of the region's tasks, quests, and secret bosses that you missed during your initial playthrough. You also get access to a chapter select, and if you're up for the challenge, you can replay the story on hard mode. So I hope it's not too obvious that I think Final Fantasy VII is one of the best games to release on the PS5 so far. Though it's a lengthy game, running me 46 hours, I think Square Enix did an excellent job with the beautiful open world, making it expansive and full of things for us to do, not just some hollow land to run from point A to point B like many other open world games. I think the story that they're telling with the trilogy is phenomenal, and Cloud and his allies have many special moments that bring them all together. What can I say? I cannot wait till part 3 comes out. Now I think it's time to give Final Fantasy VII Rebirth a score, and I give this game a 10 out of 10. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts of the game is, and if you finished it, let me know what you thought of the ending and what's your takeaway from it. And if you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel for more gaming content, like my video on Persona 3 Reload, which should be right here, or YouTube Thinks You'll Like from my channel, which should be right here. Thank you for watching this video, and until next time, your boy King Exodus is out.